system. I think YouTube has a system where it doesn't immediately go live if I press start streaming from OBS. Oh, never mind, it does. It appears that I am live. It appears that I'm live. But the chat's still not showing up on the screen. Oh, you don't see me live? It says that I'm live though. Oh no. There's like the concurrent viewer thing just went up though. Oh no. Okay. Oh god, everything's gone wrong. What did I do? See, the chat's not showing up on the screen though. Oh, I even have the wrong freaking thumbnail. Freaking hell. I don't have a thumbnail. Oh my god. I forgot thumbnails were a thing. Oops. Insert thumbnail here, I guess. Lamau. Okay, what the hell do I do? So I have like the Streamlabs thingy with the widget. The chat box widget. Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
I guess so. If there is a specific chat box widget.
It worked the last time I streamed on YouTube. Oh my god. But is it working? Wait, why? Okay, that's just stupid. God, how's the audio and everything? On the stream at least. I guess you two can't tell because you guys are in the Discord call with me. Asif, how's the audio if you're still here? It's good, you can hear the music, you can hear us and me. Okay. So, it's officially live and working and everything? Yeah, I guess. Okay. I am so rusty, Jesus freaking. We are going to learn about kidneys as soon as I send out a tweet. Music is slightly louder. Okay. Yes, we are learning about kidneys. Okay, I'm gonna turn down music a bit. Music. Boop, 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 boop. How's this for music? Hopefully that's better. Alright, retweet. Quote retweet. I don't remember how to go live. Oh my god, I was trying to set this up like more than half an hour ago. Oh my god. I was planning to start streaming at 1:30. Well, 1:30 my time.
I can tell you were focused and trying to do it because we're in stream basically for quite a while.
Okay. Oh god. Oh wait, I need to get the link for my stream to say that I'm live. Otherwise people don't know where to go. Oh my god, it's been so long since I've done anything. Okay, good night. Thanks for dropping by. I guess you'll learn about kidneys as we go to sleep. Or you're gonna learn about kidneys. Is there a kidney emoji? No, there isn't. Alright, tweet. Cool, alright. I was about to go on the YouTube strips until 4 AM, but saw you live by coincidence. Yeah, it's complete total coincidence. Alright. You guys wanna stay? Do you two, Geohota, do you two want to stay and learn about kidneys?
I do want to stay.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna watch from there.
Sounds good. Thanks for helping me with the troubleshooting. Yosh. Thank you, sister. Oh yeah, how do I monitor chat? Hang on, how do I monitor chat while I'm streaming? I don't remember. I'm streaming from a freaking laptop. I'm a laptop person. Okay, you know, you're just saying that it sucks to be me. You can... Nah, sorry. Oh no. Oh wait, hang on. Okay, let me unpin the troubleshooting message first. Dismiss pin message. And then, in the off chance that people are come to this stream, I'm gonna pin a message on top saying that please don't refer to me by my real name or something. How do I do that? Hi, if you know me IRL, please don't refer to me by my real name. Thanks. And then send, and then pin. How do I pin? I pinned this already. Pin. Let me pin this. Please let me pin this. It is not pinning. Why is it not pinning? Gil, are you a mod on my channel? Can you help me pin it?
No, I tried, and there was a report button.
God damn it. Don't report that. Replace pinned message. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yay! Alright, this is less so an actual stream and more so of me needing to study stream. So, let's start. Let's see. So this is a nephron. Do you know what a nephron is, Gail?
What?
A nephron. It's a unit in the kidney. So you have your kidney, and then your nephron kind of like does that, and then it drains into your bladder. Drains stuff into your bladder that way. It's pretty interesting. And then this is like, there's like a lot of nephrons from a lot of kidneys. Well, you have 2 kidneys. Great, this is off to a great start. So there's different parts of a nephron. Let's go blue. So this is the glomerulus. No, it's not blue. Glomerulus. It's called a glomerulus because it's like grape-shaped or something. And then there's like blood going in this way. It's called the afferent arteriole. And then there's blood going out. So the kidney's job is to filter your blood to make sure that the waste products in your body are being processed, and then clean plasma will come back into your body, and then the waste products eventually goes into your urine, like that. So, kidney filtration unit system thing. Different parts of it. Boop, boop. Let's go with green for now. It's very scuffed. This is fine. So, right underneath the glomerulus here, this is called the proximal tubule. Proximal. This is... Wow, amazingly neat handwriting, am I right? Oh my god, Thank you for coming. That is the proximal tubule. So it resorbs like sodium and water and like a lot of organic stuff, like sugars and phosphates and whatnot. And then your filtrate thing goes around, and then this is the loop of Henle going up. So I'll just call this the loop. Come on, let's move this. Loop of Henle. And then, so that primarily reabsorbs like things like potassium and calcium and magnesium. Until I see you in the chat. And then, in general terms, it comes back to the distal tubule, where it resorbs the rest of the calcium and some sodium. and then goes to the collecting duct, where it eventually goes to your bladder. So collecting, yeah. Collecting duct. So this is where water is reabsorbed the most, so it concentrates the urine. And some things can act on this, but we'll get to that. Blank slate. Let's start again by looking at the cells. What do the cells look like in these particular parts? Alright, let's take a look. Let's start with the proximal tubule, which is right underneath the glomerulus, if you just remember what I just said. Alright, so let's go with black. So, being layered. This is a cell in your body. Wow, it's an amazing cell. No, it's not. It's fine. Proximal tubule. So let me just put that prox. So let's call this the lumen. So that's the side where your filtrate is, and this is the blood. So like where it goes back into your bloodstream and things like that. So on basically every single cell on the blood side, there's this transporter. Hang on, give me a sec. Let's see. Let's zoom in here. So, what does it do? Let's go with random other color. It pumps sodium out and calcium in. I think it's 3 sodiums and 2 potassiums at the cost of 1 ATP. So this is like, so this is on all the time. This makes the inside intercellular concentration of potassium high. Increase potassium in here. And then over here it makes the extracellular concentration of sodium high. Yes. Okay, I really don't know how to monitor chat. But I'm assuming nothing's coming. Oh! Hi, Scorpy! Long time no see. I guess it's long time no see for me, so it's long time no see from here. Hello, hello. Thanks for dropping by the stream. We are learning about kidneys. So, specifically in the proximal tubule, there's some other good stuff. So, let's see. Let's use blue or something. Hi, I miss you. I miss y'all too. I wish I could do more streaming, but honestly, I think for the next while, if I had to do streaming, it's gonna be some studying stream. Alright, so on this side, on the lumen side, so where the filtrate stuff is, it reabsorbs sodium. And how does it do that? It does that with wait, hang on, does it do it with phosphate? Give me a sec. I'll double check my notes because I don't remember. It shouldn't do that with phosphate. Or does it? I freaking know. Double check my notes. No. Oh. No! Why do we have an actual doctor in your eyes? I'm gonna... bruh, I'm just learning about... No, I can't teach you about it, bro. Now the pressure is on because I'm just learning it, and then I forget everything, and then now you know when I get everything wrong. Ah, no. This is not good. Oh, but welcome. Thanks for dropping by. No, I have to actually teach it correctly. Double check my notes. How does the proximal tubule work again? Oh no, it's only been like a few days since I've studied this stuff. No. No. Okay, give me a sec. Unless you want to fill in what sodium is co-transporting for me. Proximal tubule reabsorption. Google. What does it say? I know stuff is being transported. I guess it's just everything being co-transported, isn't it? Because like in the proximal tubule, like a lot of things are being reabsorbed, like glucose and like phosphate, PO4 2 minus, I think, and like amino acids, etc. So like this is like co-transported with sodium, I believe. Co-transport. If I remember correctly. So like it's these things are being driven into the cell because of the low sodium concentration, because of this ATP based transporter pumping sodium out. Yeah. Alright, so another important part of the proximal tubule is that it reabsorbs bicarbonate. So the interesting thing about that is that it does that via a different sodium transporter. So sodium is again being transported in, but this time a proton, H+, is being transported out. Yes. So after that, because we have like bicarbonate stuff in the filtrate, right? We have bicarbonate, yes, and then they combine into H2CO3, which is then split into water and carbon dioxide via carbonic anhydrase, which is an enzyme that can help with this. So it splits this apart into two molecules, which can then freely diffuse into the cell. So these will go like boop, so it doesn't need a transporter because they're cool that way. Nah, it's just because they're small enough molecules that they don't need a transporter. And they're not charged, so they could just go in. And then they recombine. They recombine into H2CO3. I think that's also with carbonic anhydrase, but I'm not too sure, so I'm just gonna leave that for now. And then this dissociates into the proton that we just saw earlier, H+, which then goes back into the transporter to be recycled again. Look at that, how beautiful. And yes, and then over here, the other part of that is the bicarbonate, which has its own transporter and it just gets reabsorbed into the blood. Isn't that cool? It's just all the system, all of this, just to reabsorb bicarbonate. It's just like, your cells are doing so much work. At what cost? At what cost? At what cost? What else can I say in the proximal tubule? I'll add some pharmacology in here for now. So like, there's this thing called acetazolamide. So let's see, acetazolamide. So it inhibits this carbonic anhydrase. But I should put that on a different layer, so I can just like, yeah, I'm gonna put this in a different layer, so I could just reuse this a bit. Acetazolamide. Very scuffed handwriting, as befitting. Diamox? What? Oh, is that the name of the drug? I'm not too sure. I only learned the pharmacology names, not the brand names. For now, at least. I don't know what I'll learn in next year. Still in my first year in med, so... Yes, so it inhibits carbonic anhydrase, which basically prevents all this from happening, which means that this doesn't happen, which means that this doesn't happen, which means that this also doesn't happen. So the effect of that apparently this is like a weak diuretic. But I'm trying to figure out why. Give me a sec. Like, it inhibits. How is it neuro? Oh, chat. Thank you for reminding. One time I diagnosed the idiopathic intracranial hypertension. Intracranial hypertension. What? Okay. Started a patient on acetylcholine. It's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that's what that could be used for. Because we were just told it's like a very weak diuretic. But it's not very effective because it's inhibiting this sodium reabsorption, which later affects the water reabsorption, I think. But then like because there's so many other sites that have sodium reabsorption, it's not very strong diuretic. Yeah, it's a weak diuretic. Let's see. It says in my notes here, uses. It's for glaucoma, high altitude sickness, and metabolic alkalosis. Altitude sickness. Yeah, exactly. Glaucoma. What's glaucoma? Sorry. Now I'm just showing how inept I am. You should not trust me to do stuff. Glaucoma is... I mean, it has something to do with the eyes, right? Oh, high eye pressure. Oh! Intracranial hypertension leading to glaucoma? Probably? Does that make sense? I don't know. Big words that you understand. What the? In layman's terms, diuretics make you pee more, or wee if you want to be more Australian or British. So, no, actually, like my clinical tutors, they use the word wee. Wee. Wee, yes. I was like, how much are you weeing? It's like, it's what you say. Yes. So yes, that's exactly what they say. Wee pills. Yes, diuretics are wee pills. So this is a weak diuretic because they only make you pee a little bit more. Wee a little bit more. Yes. I think that's it for acetazolamide for now. I'll just add a quick note here then. For like coma, high altitude sickness, and then like yeah, let's go with the intracranial high blood hypertension. Hypertension is high blood pressure, by the way, in case you didn't know. Cranial hypertension. Cool. Alright, so the other diuretic, I think, it's a mild diuretic we also learned about is an SGLT2 inhibitor. So, I believe, hang on, where does that act? I think that it just acts here, the SGLT2. So, SGLT2 would be a transporter. I'll put a notes here. SGLT2 inhibitor. So basically it reduces this glucose reabsorption, so there's less glucose. Oh, hang on. Yes, I am totally looking at chat. Yes. There you go. There you go. There you go. Second is cool. Alright. Back to SGLT2 inhibitor. So that prevents the glucose reabsorption. So there's less glucose going into the bloodstream. It's not very commonly used. There's a very little diuretic effect. SGLT2 inhibitors are super important nowadays because they recently got approval for heart failure patients. Oh really? Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that either. All these things in the medical thing that the lecturers are keeping from us. The lecturers are actually. This is a conspiracy. I swear this is a conspiracy. Yeah, like if they're gonna make a lot of money soon, we better invest in that, you know. And lecturers keeping this from us, so we can't make the money. the I didn't learn this in med school. Okay, good to know. It's not something. But yeah, it's just a weak diuretic. But it's just for reducing blood sugar usually. Apparently, orally at least. Blood glucose. Glucose is sugar, for those who didn't know. Alright. I think that's it for the proximal tubule for now. Yeah, let's move on to the next part. Did I miss anything else? Anesthesiology's heart failure patients only ShadowTenshii, so I'm like, what? Interesting. Yeah, we had our cardio block, last block. And we were just introduced to a bit of like heart failure stuff, but it was more so. I think we learned more about the arrhythmias than like heart failure. Although like I didn't do too well in a heart failure pharmacology exam last time, so yeah. All right. Let's see. All right. We'll just take away all this proximal tubule stuff. I'm gonna just delete that. Cool. Alright. Next. So after the proximal tubule comes the loop of Henle. I'm just gonna put this here. Okay, well, let me know if you're still here. Let me know like whenever chat gets updated so I know when to look at it. If okay. Loop of Henle. I really don't know why it's called a loop. I mean, like, a loop implies that it's a closed circle, but it really only does that. I wouldn't really call that a loop. I might call that a curve or something. In any case, good luck, have fun. Nephrology sucks. Yeah, it does. I'm not having a good time. I'm gonna play Battle because I'm mentally ill. That's such a mood though. It's like, I play, what do I play these days? Tetris. I play Tetris because I'm mentally ill. Yes. I haven't touched Tetris in a while though. Alright. Loop of Henle. Let's see. We still have this sodium, potassium, ATPase, so that's still on the cell. So we have this interesting triple transporter. So it transports 3 things in the same direction, which is pretty cool. So you have sodium again, so it also gets reabsorbed here. You get 2 chlorines, and then potassium. So this is a triple transporter, not a triple whammy, but a triple transporter. So it goes from the urine, the lumen, and then goes into the cell via this transporter. And then potassium is like, yeah, nah, I've had enough of that. So it's just like, it leaves. It comes back out. And the potassium just like that way. Potassium just doesn't want any of this shit. But the thing is, it doesn't know which way to leave because it also leaves on this side. So there's a potassium and chloride transfer here. So yeah, sodium reabsorbed. You know, it just goes its usual. And then chlorine is like, yeah, I'll get it in blood. It's fine. But then potassium is like, nah. So it leaves on both sides. So it both goes back into the lumen via just channel, or it goes into the blood via this transporter here. And then oh, so another important part about the loop of Henle is that, so because there's a lot of potassium out here too, well, potassium going out is probably in part due to the high potassium concentration here, but there's a net positive charge in the lumen here. So now you've got other positively charged molecules, ions, like calcium and magnesium, and they're like, oh, I want to go into the blood too. But then they're like, they're charged, so they can't cross the cell membrane very easily, and they're pretty freaking big, so they can't go through channels easily. So what they do is they hijack this positive charge on a lumen, and they use it to repel themselves via the shunt pathway. There's also a shunt pathway in the proximal tubule that's for sodium and water. But here, yeah, so calcium and magnesium get resorbed from the filtrate into the blood via this shunt pathway here in the loop of Henle. It's like, you know how positive charges, they repel each other. That's what's happening. It's using that force to drive itself into the blood. Pretty cool, eh? Well, you don't sound that intrigued.
No, I'm just thinking about how this looks, just like the current thing that I was having so much trouble with.
Yes. It does. It is kind of similar to how neurons and their things work. In any case, I can stream about neurons later, not later in the year. Hmm. Yep. What that you love this generation where we have doctors that play Valor and med students that play Apex. Bro, I have this. There's this med school classmate that I have. He's got like over 10,000 hours in League, and he's like a master, like in ranked. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. In any case, all right. That's about it for the loop of Henle, but I'm gonna add some pharmacology like I have before. So the main thing that acts on a loop of what is it called? Oh, they're just called loop diuretics. That's such a boring name. And they're not like fancy names, they're just loop diuretics. Loop wee pills. Or I'm just gonna call diuretics wee pills now. Thanks, guys. So what happens? Main effect decreases blood volume. So loop diuretics prevent this from happening. Oh, I forgot to put it on a different freaking layer again, did I? Yep. Alright, let's quickly fix that. Oh. I didn't do it properly. Boop. Boop. Alright. And then, yeah, so they prevent this from happening. Why does it decrease blood volume? I'm trying to figure out why it decreases blood volume. Or I could just ask Google, but like, I'm trying to... Risk, okay, let's take a look first. The risk of hypokalemia. So there's a risk that you don't get enough potassium in the blood. So, hypokalemia. Risk. So do you know what this word means, Gil? I can break it down for you.
What does it mean?
Hypokalemia. So hypo means less or not enough, yeah? Compared to like hyper. Hyper is more, hypo is less. So cal refers to potassium. So, you know, cal. Potassium. Emia, I guess in the US there's no extra A with emia, is to do with the blood. So combining that together means low potassium in the blood. So if you're on loop diuretics, you have a risk of not having enough potassium in the blood. That's what this word means. It's just, people just like to make up big words. Can't get waited to be treated in the future by Pro League players. Years. Trauma surgeon is a predator name. That would be hilarious. Alright. Oh, okay. So oh, I just saw my notes. I forgot. So the reason why you get less potassium in the blood isn't because there's less potassium being reabsorbed, but it's actually because there's more sodium that's not being reabsorbed that affects later downstream effects, which indirectly leads to less potassium in the blood. Huh. Yeah.
So more sodium in the blood? Or...
In a lumen. So lumen being like the filter part that eventually becomes the urine. Blood is here.
Oh, I see.
This is a space. Lumen means space. You'll hear a lot about lumens in various parts of the body. So by the loop diuretics, if they inhibit this transporter, it means that less sodium or no sodium is being reabsorbed here, which means that more sodium is being retained in the lumen instead of being going into the blood, which would later affect future cells that then affect the potassium there. That leads to the low potassium risk. It's also a risk of... Why is it a risk of... Okay, so it's... Okay. It's a commonly used, most effective wee pill. It's stuck in my mind. I can't not call it wee pill. Wee pill. Okay, so... It's because a lot of sodium is being reabsorbed here normally in the dubophenylate. And by just inhibiting this part, it's just impacting the sodium reabsorption the most. And because you're inhibiting sodium reabsorption, you're also like, okay. So when you reabsorb sodium, water goes with it. I don't know how to explain that though, so I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah. Or I could just not explain it. Let me see. Why are there so many notes? Okay. Impaired potassium secretion. So apparently this is impaired as well, which leads to less positive charge, which means that this is also not going into the blood as much. So it also has a hypocalcemia and hypomagnesemia risk. Yes. Okay. Plus hypocalcemia and magnesemia. Gail, do you want to try parsing what these two words mean? Gail? Is Gail gone? Is Gail just gone? Rude, you didn't even say goodbye. In any case, we'll quiz him when he comes back. Yeah, because there's less positive charge in the lumen because potassium isn't coming out as much. The calcium and magnesium isn't being reabsorbed as much, so there's less calcium and magnesium in the blood. That makes sense. And then the clinical phenotype. So this is what happens if you take the drug. But then if this happens naturally in your body, so like that this transporter doesn't work, triple transporter doesn't work properly in your body, clinical phenotype is called Barter's syndrome. Barter's syndrome. That's the clinical phenotype of this transporter not working properly. This also has a risk of gout. Why is it a risk of gout? Because competes with uric acid for secretion. I think it means that the loop diuretics are normally secreted from the blood, but then it uses the same pathway as uric acid, which means that there's more uric acid in the blood, which means that it could lead to uric acid crystals forming where you don't want it to, which is gout. Due to uric acid secretion competition. Welcome back. So, Gail, do you want to try figuring out what hypocalcemia and hypomagnesemia means? Yeah! Yay! Simple, right? Simple, right? Big words got bigger, but then like you can like split it up into parts. So it's all good, right? So I was just saying that this is what happens if you take loop diuretics, the drug. But then if your body does that on its own, so if this transporter doesn't work because of like genetics or something, it's called Bartter syndrome, which has the same effects. If you take these drugs, you also have risk of getting gout because it competes with uric acid for getting out of your body, which means that there's going to be more uric acid retained in your blood, which means that it has a more chance of forming uric acid crystals, which is what happens with gout. Yeah, you can check out what gout is like on Google Images later, or maybe don't because it's not very nice to look at. In any case, all right. On to the next part of the kidney. Boop, boop. So after the loop of Henle, we have that was a thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle to be exact. But we are moving on to the distal convoluted tubule. So distal convoluted tubule. I'll just do that CT because I'm lazy. So distal convoluted tubule. What does it have over here? So again, it has a transporter that reabsorbs sodium because almost every cell has that in the kidney apparently. But this time it's not a triple transporter because potassium was so fed up with everything that it doesn't want to participate anymore. So it's just sodium and chlorine. One chlorine because, yeah. So, this time, what's new is that there's this channel where calcium can just go in, so it doesn't need to rely on the positive charge anymore to go between the cells. It could just go into the cell this way via channel because the distal convoluted tubule is generous and it's rewarding calcium, and it could just let it free entry into the cell. But then if it's into the cell, how does it get out of the cell? So this is where on the other side of the cell the calcium leaves via this transporter, but then for it to leave, sodium has to go in for it to balance out somehow. Yeah, I think that's the transporters in this distal convoluted tubule. So we go back to, oh wait, did I? Yeah, okay. Pharmacology. Pharmacology. So the Class of drugs that acts on the distal convoluted tubule is thiazides. Thiazide. I mean, they're also called distal convoluted tubule diuretics, distal convoluted tubule wee pills. You guys have just put this into my. You guys have just put it into my head. Wee pills, bruh. Like, this has never been in my vocabulary, like, ever. Good job, guys. It's just great. Yeah. Let's see. Thiazides. Thiazide. Alright. So thiazides are another kind of diuretic. But they're usually not used on their own. They're usually used in conjunction with loop diuretics. Plus loop diuretics. So, loop wee pills. Yes. Alright, so it's good for hypertension. So let's just put that. Good for hypertension. Hypertension, high blood pressure. But it's also sometimes used for treating kidney stones. Okay, let's add that. Kidney stones. Do you know why? Do you want to guess why? Do you know? Okay, so kidney stones are like white rocks that can get stuck on a path to from your kidneys to your bladder, and it's really, really painful. It's actually described to be more painful than childbirth. I know. So what happens is, okay. So given that it is a white rock that basically gets lodged in your tubes of your kidney and blocks urine from being produced and like going out into your bladder and preventing you from weeing, why do you think kidney stones might be formed? What do you think they're made of? If you want to guess. What might a white rock be made of? A white. Yes! Kidney stones are primarily made of calcium. So the reason why kidney stones usually form is because you have too much calcium in the blood. So what happens? Give me a sec. Trying to figure out how this affects the calcium when the thiazides act on this transporter. It's like a lot of calcium that's a rock, that becomes a rock. It's called kidney stones. Why does this happen? Okay. Oh! I think I see. Okay, so because thiazide wee pills act on this transporter, so they block that, and that causes the sodium concentration in the lumen to be higher because sodium isn't being reabsorbed. So this creates a higher positive charge, which drives the calcium to go through more, which also means that there's less sodium in the cell, which means that this happens more frequently because it's going from a higher concentration to a lower concentration, which means that the net effect is that there's a lot more calcium being reabsorbed into the blood from the lumen. So this whole thing is upregulated, or this whole thing is enhanced, which means that there's less calcium in the lumen, which means that you have a reduced risk of kidney stones. So basically it increases calcium reabsorption. After all that.
No kidney stones.
No kidney stones. No rock absorption. Kidney stone. We don't want kidney stones. Kidney stone. Alright, what else? Side effects for risk of hypovolemia. Bruh, like you still need calcium though. You still need calcium. You have calcium. Yeah, you know what? Not enough calcium. But apparently, but yeah, like if you got kidney stones, you can get treated with thiazides. Apparently. Well, like another thing they could do is like I think they use some sort of ultrasound to break apart larger kidney stones that are too big to be stopped by thiazides. So they basically just like vibrate and then break apart the stones for smaller stones, to make smaller stones, and then use the drugs to clear it. The treatment. Okay, so like the loop diuretics, the loop wee pills, they also compete with uric acid for secretion, so it's also an increased gout risk because of the uric acid retention. What is it also? Metabolic alkalosis risk. Metabolic alkalosis, which means that there's... Wait, why? Give me a sec. Yeah... I think we'll figure it out in the next part. Yeah. So basically, the main effect of thiazides is increased calcium reabsorption, whereas for loop diuretics, it's the opposite. Oh, clinical phenotype. So this is what happens if you take the drug, the thiazide wee pills, but then like this all happens if this all happens because of genetics, because of skill issue. It's called Gittleman syndrome. Gittleman's syndrome. So you would see the same effects. So you would have like increased calcium reabsorption, which means that when you take a blood test, you might see that, oh, the calcium levels are really high somehow. Or maybe the person would like be like, why does my gout keep coming back? And then add it all together, it could be because of this. What else? Ooh. So, important issue for thiazides apparently is that it has a very high risk of hyponatremia. Okay. Hyponatremia risk. Do you want to parse out what this might mean, Gil? No? Yes? No?
I'm waiting for you to write it out on screen.
Oh. Is it like lagging behind or something?
Oh, that's just a delay.
Ah.
You have low nature.
Low nature. No, it's not nature. Low nature power. Nah. What could that be? I wonder. It's a bit hard, not gonna lie.
What?
Yeah, what could this be?
Where's my periodic table?
We were talking about some of it though. Trying to figure out what. Okay. Didn't know that. Why though? More than...
Oh, I see the underline. Is it sodium?
It is sodium. So what does it mean, Gale?
But this is... You don't have to think that out. Wow.
What does it mean?
Low sodium.
Yes. Good job. Alright, so apparently it has a high hyponatremia risk, or high risk of not having enough sodium in your blood. Yes. Might be because of the calcium being impacted too, though. Because if this happens, the sodium levels are very much not being reabsorbed. And so, like, your urine isn't being diluted properly. Huh. So one last thing to worry about is that thiazides contain sulfur, so you have to watch out for patients with sulfur allergies. Because they might get an allergic reaction to thiazides. Thiazide whey pills. I think that's about it for thiazides. Cool. Alright, next. Next is the last part, or the last cellular part at least. So, it is the collecting duct, or the cortical collecting duct. Boop boop. Cortical collecting duct. Cortical collecting duct. And then for this we need to add another cell because it's cool that way. What? Chat. Oh my god, it's Constantine. I'm not a doctor yet. But thanks for dropping by. It's been a long time, hasn't it? We're learning about kidneys. Isn't that fun? No, not really. Nephrology is really difficult.
Make my dinner now.
Yeah.
Start talking about
I hope I didn't traumatize you too much with the kidney stones. Yeah, an interesting thing though is that when you see patients coming into the hospital with kidney stones, they say that they have a loin to groin pain because the pain radiates from your side down. It's pretty cool. Kidneys, all I know is that it's expensive. I should get more of them. For investment. Oh, yeah, no, it's not cool that way. I misspoke. My apologies. Cool in a scientific way, but not cool in the patient, for sure. Not fun. People will say, I hope nobody has to experience such pain. Oh yeah, the reason why you hear so much about people selling kidneys is because it's one of the few organs that you could live with only one of them. You can live on one kidney if you watch your fluid intake and whatnot. Got an accident. Call it accident. Yeah, it's fair. But yeah, oh, by the way, other interesting fact. We're getting a little sidetracked, but it's fine. So you know how you have like 2 kidneys on like 2 sides of your body doing that, and it's like this is your body, this is your heart, this is your pancreas and liver and spleen and whatnot. 2 kidneys, right? You know what they do for a kidney transplant? They actually don't remove kidneys. They don't remove the non-functional kidneys. They just stick an extra 3rd kidney and connect it. So people with kidney transplants, it's possible that they just come, instead of coming from the back where the kidneys are, they come in from the front, and then they just transplant a 3rd kidney and connect everything up. It's pretty cool. I keep saying that, and I really hope I don't misspeak about that, but like, just imagine, nah, that's only kidney stones, but just imagine having 3 kidneys. You'd think that for a transplant, you'd have to remove the things that aren't working properly and replace it, but that's not what they do for kidneys. I never knew that, which is... yeah. In any case, let's go back to the cortical collecting duct. So we're almost there. So cortical collecting duct is just before where the ureter or like the bladder, eventually it goes to the bladder, the ureter. Okay, cortical collecting duct. What is here? So you've got, well, first thing, there's intercalated cell, but there's also like a principal cell. Principal cell. So there's like two main cell types in the cortical collecting duct. A dumb question, but do kidneys work together in parallel or does it work alternately? They're their own separate things, I would say. So you could have one kidney that doesn't work properly, but the other still does, I think. I'm not sure if that answers your question though. In any case, so the principal cell of the cortical collecting duct has this channel transporter thing. It has a name. It actually has a name. It's not just some random channel. It's called an ENaC. Wait, what does it stand for? I'm kind of curious because I forget.
What?
This channel has a name. Why is it called an ENaC though? ENaC stands for... no, it is not Early Notification Assistance Convention. Oh, they're just called epithelial sodium channels. That's just boring. They're called ENaC because it's epithelial sodium channel. Okay. That's just sad. Okay, I thought it actually had like a cool name or something, but it's just... yeah. How does the body distribute the liquid equally to both of them at the same time? That's a very good question and I'm not too sure about. Something to do with the blood flow, I would assume? And so like you have different blood vessels going to all parts of your body, and I was going to make the assumption that if something doesn't quite work in one of the kidneys, there might be higher pressure, which means that blood is less likely to go there. And that will lead to like necrosis or death of the cells, which will lead to kidney failure. I think that's a basis on it actually. Yeah, so I'm not, so like in terms of just the body distributing the liquid, it's just think of it like a water flowing through a maze with different paths, I think. And I think you'll get a pretty good, it's just how blood works, I guess. Not too sure though, so don't quote me entirely on that. Cortical collecting duct has this ENaC sodium channel that drives sodium in. And then potassium, you know, always the one that's like, frick this, screw this, I'm leaving. Potassium leaves again. Perhaps I just got enough of everything. Like every single time we see potassium in the equation, it just keeps leaving the cell. Yeah, okay. And then on the intercalated cell now, that's the new thing, is that it has a channel where protons are being dumped. Human bodies are interesting. Yeah. House husband. Bruh. You'd better like clean up all my dishes because I hate that. Sodium gets reabsorbed, potassium gets dumped because he's like, yeah, nah, I hate that. And then in the intercalated cells, it helps regulate the pH by dumping as much protons as they need. I think that's most of what we need to know for the cortical collecting duct, along with the fact that aldosterone from the blood, aldosterone acts on a cortical collecting duct this way. So, back on the pharmacology now, I think. Pharmacology. Alright, so there's this thing called amyloid? Amyloid. I'll put this here. Milleride. No, there's not enough space here. Over here, I think. No, it doesn't really matter because the other thing I'm talking about has similar effects. Okay, put it back here. Milleride. So it acts by inhibiting this EMAC channel. And then on the other side here, we have this thing called aldactone. Aldactone, which inhibits the effect of aldosterone. So these actually have opposite side effects to loop diuretics or thiazides or wee pills. In the sense that because there's less sodium reabsorption, it means that there's less potassium and less proton H+ secretion. Why? Wait, why? Why? Nande. Why is that the case? I just have that in my notes, but I don't know why. That's so weird. Hang on. Why is it that by inhibiting this, it causes these two to not work as much? You'll have to double check that sometime. But it's a risk of hyperkalemia, so too much potassium and metabolic acidosis. Okay, so because of this happening, it leads to a risk of metabolic acidosis and hyperkalemia. Yeah, are you still here? You wanna say what hyperkalemia means?
A lot of chloride.
Kalemia?
Bulimia?
Kalemia with a K.
Oh.
You,
A lot of potassium.
where?
In blood.
Yes. Hyper, too much. Cal, which is the prefix for potassium. Emia for blood. Too much potassium in the blood. But it's because it has like an opposite metabolic effect to the other wee pills that you could use this in conjunction with other diuretics or wee pills. Are you gonna start streaming more again? If I can get enough study material that I can show on stream, then possibly. This was like scuffed AF though, so yeah, guess we'll see. I mean, it's forcing me to do some review and study, so that's something at least. I need that for sure. So it's also really good for treating hypertension because hypertension can usually be caused by too much aldosterone. Yeah, so that is the two main drugs that we need to know about the cortical collecting duct, I believe. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. I think I wanted to double check a few things. Thiazide. Oh, okay. There was something about... I'm pretty sure that, whatchamacallit, bicarbonate is also reabsorbed here though. I'm not sure about the exact mechanism. Yeah, because so the cortical collecting duct is where your potassium and protons are being dumped. So if you see something wrong with potassium levels, or like if it's too much acid or base, too much acid in your urine would mean that this is working too much again for some reason. Yeah, but then like if it's too much potassium, it could be because of this not working properly as well. Yeah. Okay. So, deleting that. Going back to our original amazing Nephron picture. So, I think I mentioned this. Kind of. This is terrible. Alright, let's take a look. So, we've already looked at this. In terms of the pharmacology, the proximal tubule has the acetazolamide that we looked at. Acetazolamide. And the SGLT2 inhibitor. And then on the loop of Henle, there's the loop diuretics. Loop diuretics. Wee pills, fine. I'm calling it wee pills. Distal tubule has the diazides. And then the collecting duct has the amiloride and the aldactone. Yes. And then, so this would be where the blood goes in this way, would be the afferent arteriole. And then where the blood goes out this way, well, it doesn't really go in or out, it's just passing through the glomerulus. It's called the afferent arteriole. But then, let's talk a little bit about what happens when drugs aren't supposed to do what they do and they do extra stuff. Oh, it's Neum. Hello, Neum. We are just learning a bit more about kidneys. We just went through like the different cell types of the different parts of the nephron, and some drugs that act on it. But I think I just want to talk a little bit more about renal failure. I'm not talking about being a failure, but you know, nephrons sometimes they don't work properly. Which is possibly also because you take too much of some drug, or because your kidneys are weak, and then if you take a regular amount of some drug, they can't tolerate it. So, why? One reason could be because there's decreased renal blood flow. So let's just put that here. So if you have decreased blood flow here, oh, I should put that in a different layer. Boop, 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 because we're talking about something else now. Okay, so if you have decreased renal blood flow, so this isn't really working as much. So, well, it's decreased intrarenal blood flow. Indirectly, it could cause renal failure because, let me think. How does this work? So, I'm trying to figure out. I think it just has to do with the filtration. Oh, just wanted to stop by and say hi. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. No worries. Like, we'll always have the VOD to look back on if you wanted to. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, because there's less blood flow, this whole system isn't working as much because there's less being filtered. So this leads to a decreased GFR, which stands for glomerular filtration rate. A very big word, but glomerular just referring to this grape thing. Filtration rate, meaning how well it filters the stuff from the blood into the urine. So decreased blood flow leading to decreased glomerular filtration rate. Dramatically. Which means that your kidneys aren't doing the job they're supposed to do. So you don't want that. But what causes that? Several things. So, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. NSAIDs. Some examples are like ibuprofen, I think, or aspirin. There are different types of NSAIDs. So like, you know, over the counter for like fevers and things like that. NSAIDs, so they decrease the vasodilation on afferent tubules. So decrease vasodilation. So, Gil, you here?
Uh-huh.
Do you know what vasodilation means?
Basil?
Vasodilation.
No.
Okay. So dilation. Do you know what dilation means? You can say no.
Like a probably a better word.
It's fine. Dilation is just basically like, for example, yeah, kinda. It's like a circle becoming bigger,
Yeah.
expanding. Vaso, or it's like the prefix for vascular, vaso. So vaso is referring to blood vessels. So vasodilation means that your blood vessels are expanding. So what NSAIDs do is that it decreases vasodilations. It decreases the expansion of blood vessels, which means that it's becoming smaller. So because this is becoming smaller, this blood flow is impaired, so it's not going in as much. Yeah. So that's for NSAIDs. Over here, what happens if you open the blood vessels more instead of decreasing it? It means that blood is leaving this grape system more quickly. So the drugs that can act here are called ACE inhibitors, or angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. So this it's an enzyme and called the angiotensin converting enzyme because it converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. So this enzyme is being inhibited by the angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. Hence the name. The drug inhibits that enzyme. But if you take that drug, it's like for blood pressure, they usually end in words called sartan. So like, I don't have a, yeah. There's this, anyways, like all the ACE inhibitors, as we call them, they basically end with the word sartan. So if you see the word sartan in your drug name, it's probably an ACE inhibitor. Welcome back, Scorpion. Hello, Average Andy. Hello. Yes, we're just learning a little bit about kidneys here. It's just me studying because I need to study. So basically, these would decrease vasoconstriction in the efferent arterioles. Vasoconstriction. Now, Gail, given that you now know what vasodilation means, do you know what vasoconstriction means?
Your blood vessels are contracting.
Yeah. So, if vasoconstriction means that your blood vessels are becoming smaller, if you're decreasing vasoconstriction, it means that the blood vessels are becoming more open. So because this causes the blood vessels here to become more open, blood leaves this glomerulus grape system faster. So again, that means that there's decreased blood flow in here, which means that you can't filter blood properly. And then the worst bit is if you don't have enough water in your blood or blood volume. So this is worsened by diuretics. Let me put this here. Or the wee pills we were talking about. Diuretics could lead to I'll just do this. Volumi. How do I spell this? Give me a sec. Hypovolemia, I think. Freaking. I don't need to know how to spell this. Special operations combat medicus. Hypovolemia. But freaking. Hang on. I need to search on how to spell this. Do I have it in my notes? Freaking hell. Hypo. Freaking. Hypo. Yeah. Let's see. Hypovolemia. Okay, got it. It isn't E. There's no U. Freaking volemia. Okay, Gil. Yes, hypovolemic. Well, we spell it with an A because we're not American, I guess. Sorry, Gil. Do you know what? Can you infer what hypovolemia means? From yes, bruh. You learned about hypokalemia, hypomagnesemia, whatever. Can you infer what hypovolemia means? Something. Yes! Very good. Yes, which means that you don't have enough water. Basically, it's telling you to hydrate. Hydrate! Hypovolemia. You don't have enough water or volume in your blood, but you don't have enough blood volume. This can be caused by diuretics or wee pills. Okay, wee pills is not actually a thing. We just coined it as a term in the stream today because, yeah, that was the thing. Imagine if I just see wee pill, the words wee pill in my test. Oh jeez. In my actual freaking. Okay. In any case, so these three drugs, the NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, the diuretics, and the ACE inhibitors, if these things are all acting on like renal function, so kidney function, kidneys not functioning properly because of not enough proper blood flow through this renal system, which means that if you're going into some sort of renal kidney failure, you might want to ask the patient, are they taking these drugs? So because these drugs, the three of them, they're commonly known as the triple whammy of renal failure, or something about like a nephrotoxic renal failure, which is caused externally by drugs. And then you would stop the people. You would stop the patients on these drugs to see if they can recover their renal function, if this is what's causing it. Yeah, so this is nephrotoxic renal failure in terms of the most common things. Let me see. What else is there? There's a lot of different types of kidney diseases. Kidney disease, glomerular disease, tubular epithelial disease, interstitial nephritis, freaking obstructive. Okay, let me see. Glomerular nephritis, renal vasculitis. Okay, these are all a lot of just. I think this is a little bit too much for me to be talking on stream or for now. But without saying too much, first, let's see. Interstitial nephritis. Interstitial means that between the cells. Let me double check that is actually what it means, because I don't want to give out the wrong information. Yeah, it is that. Alright. Alright, I am going to show another term and I will walk you through what it means. Interstitial nephritis. Alright, Gail. Do you want to have a crack at what interstitial nephritis means, or do you want me to just explain?
I need you to write it on the screen.
Oh. How much of a delay is it?
Like
Okay, that's not too bad. Okay. Do you want to guess or do you want me to just explain? Nah. Do you want to guess? Okay, so, inter. Do you know what? You at least know what inter means, right? It means between. Inter between two. Yes, inter between stitial cells ish. So it's like interstitial means between the cells. So it's not within the cells, it's not really outside the cells, it's between the cells. So, nephritis. Nephra refers to kidney. So you hear like, you know, like nephrology, the study of the kidney, or like things like that. Itis is a common suffix for inflammation. Hi Mary, thanks for dropping by the stream, hope you're doing well. We're just reviewing a little bit of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff. So interstitial nephritis means that there's inflammation of the cells, of the cells in between. Wait, let me redo that. Inflammation of in the kidney. Wait, how do I do this? Hang on. Maybe I put inflammation as a word later. I was gonna say in the kidney. Okay, so in the kidney goes later. So I think I would say where the space between the cells in the kidneys is inflamed. There we go. That works. The space in between the cells in the kidneys has inflammation. Inflammation being like, oh no, everything is going wrong. It's swelling and like you've got white blood cells coming into like bleh. Interstitial, on the whole, it means the space between the cells. So I'm not sure if it's like completely to say like cell or like space of cells or something, but inter is just between. So I don't know how much that would help though. Alright, so that's interstitial nephritis. So there's two primarily different types of interstitial nephritis. So I'm just gonna write in a different color over the other thing because I'm lazy to delete everything. So acute. Okay, can we just boop? Okay, acute allergic interstitial nephritis, and then there's chronic interstitial nephritis. Acute being that it's like short term or like coming on pretty quickly. Chronic being that it's over a long time. So acute allergic interstitial nephritis can be caused by penicillin, apparently. I didn't know that. And a lot of other things, but penicillin is one of them. I'm just looking at my notes. Why does that happen though? Why? I'm kind of curious. Why does penicillin cause interstitial nephritis? It's like a drug hypersensitivity reaction. Oh! Is that why people say that you might be allergic to things like penicillin? So it's like a drug-induced thing. So it's like basically... Okay, for those who don't know, penicillin is like an antibiotic. It kills bacteria. For some of them at least. So if you have a hypersensitivity to penicillin or some other drugs, etc., then you have the chance of getting acute allergic interstitial nephritis. Okay, so it's basically an allergic reaction, but in the kidneys. Huh. Alright, good to know. And then chronically, you can get chronic interstitial nephritis from something called calcineurin inhibitor. So calcineurin inhibitors, they're like a class of drugs that are anti-autoimmune, I guess. So I'll just put this autoimmune suppressor. Actually, have you learned about what autoimmunity means?
No.
Okay. Do you know about the immune system?
Yeah.
So you know how you have stuff in your body, cells in your body that fight extracellular stuff that you don't want in your body, and that's your immune system.
Have your own cells.
So if you attack your own cells that aren't supposed to be attacked, that's called autoimmunity. Because auto refers to yourself.
Oh.
So you're
Tell me about
oh yeah, so autoimmunity. So by suppressing, you can suppress that immune system reacting to yourself with autoimmune suppressors. So there's like, you know, autoimmune diseases like I think cystic fibrosis is one of them. Autoimmune disease. I don't wanna. Yeah, it's like basically when an immune system malfunctions, right? So you don't want that. You don't want your cells to attack your own cells because that's just stupid. But then your cells sometimes are stupid, and they do that.
Yep.
So you can have autoimmune suppressors to help with that. But then they have a risk of chronic interstitial nephritis. Isn't that just great? Yeah, I say that very sarcastically for those who can't tell. Very sarcastically. Jeez. How long have I been streaming so far? Did I start like half an hour ago or something?
An hour and 30 minutes.
An hour and a half ago. Okay. It is 3:30. Yeah. I mean, this is only like the tip of the iceberg, you know. It's like this is like barely a week of material that I've gone through today. Barely. There's so much more. I'm trying to think what else I can study in terms of this on stream so far, though. I mean, there's like the whole different diseases thing. Maybe I could do that another day, though. No, I think I might end the stream here. An hour 30 is pretty good for coming back. I just don't have the stamina to keep going like I used to, I think. Yeah. Wait, I heard that you can raid people now on YouTube. Is that true?
YouTube?
Yeah,
You try?
I can try. How do I raid people? Well, you only have like 2 viewers, but like, you can still try, right? How do I? Ooh. Or I could just. Oh, in the meantime, I guess this should be becoming like a chat stream. Raid YouTube. How to raid YouTube stream.
This whole time I've been trying to relearn calculus.
Oh no, I don't remember calculus.
I hate it here.
I don't remember calculus at all.
I don't remember how to integrate. Because I took
Integral of like 2x dx is equal to x squared plus c.
yeah.
That's
That's because calculus class 2 years ago, and then I had a break here because I didn't want to take a class when I finished because doesn't have any calculus in it, obviously.
because integrating is the area under the curve. Ah, no, I can't believe I remember that. Why? I've never touched that since like first year uni, which is like at least 5 years ago.
Thank goodness it's over after this.
Oh, it's called redirection. How do I redirect on YouTube? It's Available to channels with over 1,000 subscribers. Well, I have that, but it's not. Bruh. Or it could be something I forgot for next time because I don't want to keep you guys hostage here while I'm not actually doing any study. Boop, boop, boop. You can set up live redirects or at the end of your stream in the live control. What the hell is a live control room? What's a live control room? Man, I don't remember anything about streaming. To be fair, I've never tried rating someone or redirecting on YouTube before, so this is a share button. That's not a redirect button. Add stream marker, create highlight, insert ad. I can insert a freaking ad? Maybe I just end the stream. Maybe I just end the stream. I'm just gonna end the stream. And, you know, customary thanks everyone for coming and, like, you know, subscribe if you haven't already and whatnot. And, like, I don't know when the next stream will be. Depends on when I have, like, a bit of chill time in the future, I guess. We're starting endocrine soon, so we'll be learning about, like, hormones and whatnot instead of kidneys. But I still need to review kidneys, so maybe the next stream might still be about kidneys. In any case, yeah, thanks for coming to the stream and ending stream, pressing the button. Bye.